Hello everyone, now I'm here with my next video of pure function, impure function and recursive function. Now in this video I want to concentrate on these three topics. Firstly, I want to tell you about functions, few things so that it is a quick review for you all, and it is the last video for function. That's why something is required. That's why I written about function few things. The main role of a function is to avoid repetitive code placed in different location. This is the main motive for creation of a function. Then the second thing, the function basically used to perform some operations, means when we are creating a function, then some code should be applied in that, and that code is for some operations. For example, we want to find factorial, we want to check whether the number is prime or not. Sometimes we want to check whether that function is belongs to Armstrong number, checking that whether the number is Armstrong or not. Sometimes we have to add two numbers. Some sort of operations we have to do in functions. And then see, sometimes we create function for accepting values only, for manipulating values, for displaying values. You can have any number of functions, and in every function you have some operations. Maybe sometime only you have to display some values, sometime you have to only accept some values. Nothing that function is going to do, only accepting few values, only displaying few values, and sometimes few functions manipulate some values. And see, these functions were categorized into two categories according to their behavior. The first behavior is belongs to the pure function, and according to the second behavior it is named as impure function. We are going to concentrate on pure function right now. The first point for pure function is it always return value to the caller function. When it is called, then some value should be written from this function, then it is a pure function. Then I see the second point. In pure function, the value of a variable never change. You have to remember that the value never change in this function. In the third point, see, we can say pure function as an accessor method. And the fourth point, these function always used to perform some operations where the values never change, like accepting values or displaying values. Some sort of functions we are having, that function is not going to change any value, just to accept, just to display, just the small activity is going to be happen, but the values were not changed. Means the actual location, the value of actual parameter is not going to be changed. That's why it is likely like call by value. It act like a call by value. It never change, the formal values never change the actual parameter. And see the program of the pure function. In this, see, I had created one function for prime, so that I can check whether the p is prime number or not. For that, I had written, means first of all, what is prime numbers? Prime numbers are the numbers which is divided by only by 1 and by itself, means factor should be 2. That's why, see, I had already created one loop inside prime function, and in that loop I had already created the counting from 1 till p. Means if the value is 5, I want to check whether 5 is a prime or not, then my loop is going from 1 till 5, and I'm going to check 5, that 5 is mod by 1, then 5 mod by 2, 5 mod by 3, 5 mod by 4, and 5 mod by 5. I'm going to check it whether that value is going to have 0 or not. And if it is 0, I want to count how many times we are getting 0. Means here and here we are getting 0, otherwise we are not getting 0. It means I'd written one counter here so that I can count how many values we are getting. 0 means 5 is divisible by these values, and C5 is divisible by 2 times, that is 1, and by 5 itself means counting should be 2, means f is equals to 2. That's why I'm returning 1. That 1 indicates that it is a prime number, and if we are returning 0, it indicates that it is not a prime number. And this function I had created so that I can check whether the value of actual parameter is a prime number or not. And from this function I'm going to call the above function. But I already told you in my previous video that these kinds of functions were non-static function, and when static function going to call a non-static function, then some issues occurs, because static functions already have some restriction that it never going to call a non-static function by its own, but it can call with the help of creation of an object and going to have a permission of that object that it can visit a non-static function. How? By creation of object. And see, the main motive of this program is to print only prime numbers from 1 to 10. That's why I'd written value of n is 10. I am taking from 1 to 10, I am counting it, and I want to check how many prime numbers belongs to be in between 1 to 10. That's why I had written this, and I'm going to call this function ob.prime so that I can provide a value from here. I am providing I, and that I is moving to be, it is going to be stored inside P, and P is going to be checked whether it is prime or not. If it is prime, then 1 is written. If it is not prime, then 0 is going to be written back. And see, if in if condition what I had written, ob dot prime, that is I, whether it is equals to 1 or not. If it is equals to 1, then 1 indicates yes it is prime, and 0 indicates it is not prime number. But my requirement is to display only prime numbers. That's why I written 1 here. If my function returns 1, then it match with 1, and if it is match with 1, I want to display that I, because that I is a prime number. That's why see that I had written in this way. If that condition satisfy, I'm going to display the value of I 1 by 1, and see the what output we are getting, 2 3 5 7. These are the output in front of us. Means from 1 till 10 we are having 4 prime numbers, 2 3 5 and 7. And see, I am moving further with impure function. The impure functions, impure function never return value to its caller function. The same I had written in pure function, it is going to return value, but in impure function it is never going to be returned. And see, impure function, the value of a variable changes. In pure it is not going to be changed, but in impure it is going to be changed. Just opposite, both are opposite to each other. Impure function also called mutator. Pure function we can call as accessor. These functions always used to perform some operations where the values changes like modification. Means in some sort of function we are going to change the value of the present variable, means actual parameter and the formal parameter reflects to each other. That's why it is likely to have call by reference, means changes happens in both the parameters and it reflects to each other. That kind of function is impure function. I'm not creating a slide for the difference of impure and pure, because the point I'd written in that manner only so that you can have your difference also. And see, I'd created one program so that you can identify the impure function. In this, I'd created one non-static function which is going to increase the value of array by 2. But see, in main function I'd already created an array which contain 1 2 3 4 5, means 5 values it is going to be stored. And again I'm telling you, the static function have restriction that it is not going to visit a non-static function. That's why we have to create object of that class, and that object is going to call that non-static function. With the help of the permission of object, we are going to call that non-static function, and we are going to pass value of passing address of array, means array address is going to be passed and received by x, and then the same address what a is having, the first location of a is same referred by x also. Both are using the same location. If we are storing value 1 2 3 4 m5, then the same value is going to be used by x, the same value is going to be used by a also. X is going to be going to change the value by 2, means 1 is going to be have 3, adding 2 means now we are having 4, then 5, then 6, and then 7, increased by 2, the same location we are doing. That's why when in main function I'm going to display a, to see the locate in the same location x is working, in same location a is working. That's why the changes reflect here. See the output what we are getting 3 4 5 6 7, but the values what a is having 1 2 3 4 5, x is going to change it, but it reflects to a also. These kinds of functions were impure functions. It is likely to be like call by reference. And see, now we have something new, that is recursive function. Recursive means when a function is going to call itself in its body, then it is recursive function. See, one diagram is in front of you all. The function is calling itself in its body. These kinds of functions were the recursive functions. See, recursion basically contain two cases. First one is base case, second one is recursive case. Base case is used to stop the recursion because sometime it occurs if we are not providing the base case, the function is going on and on and on. It never stops. That's why the infinite times it is going to work. We are not supposed to do that. That's why we have to apply one case that stop the recursion. And the condition is we have to continue this recursion sometimes. That's why we have recursive case also. One more thing I want to tell you, it requires less memory for storage because it is going to use the same variable, same memory again and again, and it is going to overwrite it again and again. That's why it consumes less memory, less amount of code it requires, because we are going to have only one line so that the recursions going on continuously. We are not having so many lines, we are reducing few lines in recursion. And one more thing I want to tell you, that it is going to have a less memory. I know that I'm telling you the same thing, it code is going to be less, but when we are reducing our code, we have to be careful about it. Means how we are going careful about it, we have to see whether that code is working properly or not, that code is going to have its end or not. We have to find base case where our recursion should stop. We have to check whether it should be infinite, it never being infinite, otherwise we are having problem. We are facing the infinite loop, that kind of situation we are having in front of us. That's why in recursion we have to be careful about our codes, whether we are having our base case to stop that recursion or not. In C, I'm taking one example for recursion so that you can able to understand what I want to tell you about. If I'm taking example of a factorial, that is 5. 5, we all know the factorial of 5 is 5 into 4 into 3 into 2 into 1, or we can say 1 into 2 into 3 into 4 into 5. Means the factorial of 5 is 120, multiplication or all of them. Or we can say multiplication of 5 is 5 into 4 for factorial, because now it is a small value so that we can identify the value of factorial 5. If it is a larger value, we can't able to answer the factorial of a particular number. If I am taking example of 25 factorial, it is difficult for you all to answer it. Then what you can answer? That time we want to answer, but we don't able to, because we have to multiply till 25 times. That's why we are not able to. That time what we can answer? We can answer that we can multiply 25 with the factorial of 24. In that way we can answer. The same thing I'd written 5 into 4 factorial of 4. Both are same thing. And see what happened. We can write it in this manner. 5 into factorial of 4. And then see what happened. It is going to call the same manner again. We can write 4 into fact of 3. Then same we can write. We are calling it and we are writing it 4 into fact of 3. And for fact of 3, what can we write? 3 into fact of 2. And for fact of 2, we can write 2 into fact of 1. And for fact of 1, we can write 1 into fact of 0. In this way, we can call a function in its body itself, one by one. We are doing the same thing again and again, just by writing n into fact of n minus 1. We are just writing it. Only one line is calling itself in its body. And see what happened next. See, fact of 0 is 1. You have to remember, I told you, for every situation we have to judge our last point where we have to end our recursion. Our recursion ends on 0. Fact of 0 is 1. In place of fact of 0, what we have to write? That is 1. And then 1 is going to be multiplied with 1. See, 1 is going to be multiplied with 1. Then what we have? We are going to return the value back to the function. When I told you earlier, we have to return a value to the caller module who is calling that function. We are returning it back because fact of 1 is going to call 1 into fact of 0. That's why the answer is going to be returned back to the fact of 1. Answer is 1 into 1. That is, we are returning fact of 1, a value that is 1, which is placed on the top of fact of 1. The value is 1 because we are multiplying 1 into 1. And then see, now fact of 1 receive value 1 and we are going to multiply it with 2. 2 into fact of 1. Fact of 1 contains 1 now. And then we are going to multiply 2 into fact of 1. That is 1. Then 2 into 1 is 2. The same thing we have to return it back because fact of 2 is going to call it. That's why we have to return to the same module. Fact of 2 is going to call, then we are returning value to fact of 2. And what we are returning? See, in place of fact of 2, we are returning value 2 because 2 into 1 is 2. And then see, in place of fact of 2, we had written 2. We are going to multiply 3 into 2. 3 into 2 is 6. We are going to return this value back to the fact of 3 because fact of 3 is going to call it. That's why we are returning back to fact of 3. And fact of 3 is now getting a value that is 6. And see, we are going to multiply 6 into 4 now, because in place of fact of 3 we are getting a value 6. Now 6 is going to be multiplied with 4. 6 4s are 24. That's why we are going to return it back to fact of 4. In this way we are returning it back, and in place of fact of 4 it receive a value that is 24. We are going to multiply 24 with 5. We are getting a value that is 120. We have to return it back to the calling module. This is recursion, which is calling itself in its body till it ends. The base case in that recursion till it is going to be happen. See, the function I had created in front of you all, the same thing I had written here. See, n equals to 0 means in the last position we have to return 1 when the value of fact of 0 is 1. I told you earlier, fact of 0 is 1 means n is 0, then the value we have to return is 1. That's why I written 1 here. And I told you 5 into fact of 4 means n into fact of n minus 1. The same thing I'd written here. I'm returning back. N is going to receive and going to check the value till n receives 0. That time it happens again and again, and the answer is going to be written back. And see, this one is base case because it ends our recursion, and this one is our recursive case. When we are providing the value that is 3, see what happened when n receives value 3, whether n is equals to 0 or not. No, it is not 0. Then we have to work on this, that is n into fact of n minus 1 means 3 into fact of 3 minus 1, that is 2, means fact of 2. Again we are calling a same function from fact of 2. It is going to be called, means now value of n is 2. The same thing is applied again, whether n is equals to 0 or not. No, it is not 0, it is 2. Then what happened? See, again the same thing happened. 2 into fact of 1. Then 1 again call this function. Then the value is 1. Then what happened? Whether n is equals to 0 or not. No, it is 1. Then again the same else again works, means 1 into fact of n minus 1 means 1 minus 1, that is 0, means again it is going to call this function. With now we are checking whether n is equals to 0 or not. Yes, it is 0. Then answer is 1, means here we are returning 1. 1 into 1 is 1. We are returning it back to fact of 1. Then the value is 1. 2 into 1 is 2. We are returning back here, that is 2. Then fact of 2 is 2. Then we are going to multiply it with 3. 2 into 3 is 3. 2 into 3 is 6. Then we are returning back, that is 6. It is a factorial of 3. See, in this way the working is going on. Then we have our function in front of us, the recursive function. The same thing I had written. I had created a class that is recursive. The same function I had written here so that you can identify it. And then we have our static function. This is our non-static function. The static function is going to call a non-static function. That's why I created object of that class. And see, in this program the main motive is to display a number with its factorial. I want to display, but the series what I want that user can provide any number until that number we are going to display from 1 to that number we are going to display the number as well as the factorial of that number. Means if user is going to provide us 2, means we are going to display from 1 till 2. The factorial of 1 is 1 and factorial of 2 is 2. If user is going to provide us 3, then we are going to display 1 factorial of 1, then 2 factorial of 2, and then 3 factorial of 3 is 6. In this manner, I want to display each and everything. And see, that's why it created a logic of recursion. Here recursive case, here we are having base case, and user is going to provide us the ending point of this loop. That's why it created loop here, and I'd written heading before the loop so that it can come only one time. And see what I'd written, the number should be displayed with, I am calling that function again and again from here, means when the value of I is 1, then I am going to provide 1 from here, and n is going to receive 1 and then return us back the factorial of 1, and then it is going to be displayed here. The same manner loop is going to execute again and again till t times it is going to be executed and going to display each and every value one by one with the help of \t, so that we can have as escape sequence \t so that we can have our spaces, a proper spaces between the number and our factorial. That's why we want spaces between both of them. That's why I'm using \t. And see what happened. We are having our output in front of us. See, I'd written the number that is 5. From 1 till 5 I want every factorial. That's why I'm getting 1 factorial of 1 is 1, factorial of 2 is 2, factorial of 3 is 6, factorial of 4 is 24, and factorial of 5 is 120. In this way we are having our output. And these are a few topic in which ICSE not going to focus mainly, but you have to understand, because we never judge how a board is having a paper. Any question board can present in front of you all. You are not going to say that this is not important, this is not coming from so many years, that's why we are not having this, we are not going to study this. You have to study each and everything. And I'm ending my video on this point that you have to study each and every basic thing if you want to face your board examination. Then if you have any question, do ask from me. And if you are able to understand, do like it. And if you don't understand, please comment it so that I can understand what you are not going to understand. And in this note, I'm telling that goodbye and good luck.